Jimmy, let me hear you talk.
Check. Mic check.
Cool. Can I hear you again? Sorry.
Yo. Mic check.
That's
mic
better.
Check,
that's
mic
way
check.
better. That's way better.
Well, it's nice to meet everyone face to face.
I know.
Yeah, what up, bro?
Same here, man.
It's funny. Like I mean, I'll talk about this more on the podcast, but I feel like we would have ran into each other. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In the circles that
Right.
we're in, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, yo. So I didn't realize that you did MIA radio.
I literally just did it. Like it was such a last minute thing. Actually, you guys hit me up first.
Okay,
you hit me up
that's what
first.
I wanted to make sure.
Yeah. You guys hit me up first, and then they were like, "Yo, they're like, this is so last minute. It literally happened in like a couple hours."
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was like, typically we would have canceled because I would have been like, I don't want to fuck with their show. You know what I mean? Like,
No, you guys did ask me first. I actually told them that I was recording with you guys like the following day. So.
so then they should have actually canceled. Why did they do that?
They should have canceled.
They should have canceled.
We almost canceled.
I gotta talk to Kaz now.
Oh damn,
You
bro.
know what I'm saying? I gotta talk to Kaz, man. And he tried to release the shit earlier too. That motherfucker, right?
He didn't even.
He did that shit on purpose, man. He just put that shit out.
Yeah, he put that out quick.
Yeah, he did, right? He knew what the fuck was going on, man. Hey, yo, Jamie, leave all of this shit in too, man. I want Kaz and Zaya to hear this shit. And my MIA radio trying to sabotage the podcast.
Those guys are the fam though. Those guys are the fam though.
No, they cool. No.
We just fucking.
No, we were just fucking with them. Hey, yo, what's good? Welcome to Reflections of a DJ, the R.O.A.D podcast presented by DJ City and Beat Source. I'm one of your hosts, DJ Crooked. I've got DJ Never here.
Yo, what's up?
I got DJ D Miles.
Yo, what's good?
I got Jamie the Great.
Yeah, what up?
And yo, we got a very talented, very special guest straight from Tampa, Florida. We got DJ Cool in the building. What up, man? What's good, Cool?
Hey, what's up, guys? Appreciate
What's good, man?
What's up, man?
I also got to
Appreciate
mention
you guys having me.
Yeah, I also got to mention a Red Bull 3 style finalist,
Hey.
right? You're up there,
Nah,
right?
that was a while ago though.
It's still on the resume, though. It's still on the resume, man.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also haven't changed my Twitter bio in like.
It's also in your Instagram bio as well. So
Yeah,
I
I
gotta
gotta
mention it.
Yeah.
So I got a question. Is that like? I mean, does it seem like you're holding on to something like from the past, or is it? I feel like it's an accolade. Like,
I honestly like I just haven't changed it in a while. Like I'm about to change it to what Trey's got Red Bull 3 style alum. I'm about to change it to that.
Oh, okay, okay.
I like that one way better.
Yeah.
It's like veteran. Like I've been through it. Like I've been through that.
There was like a good like 4 years after when I did it where I was like trying to milk it, and now it's just kind of like, all right.
It wasn't all his flyers.
Yeah.
But I feel if I was a booker and I saw a Red Bull 3 style finalist or any type of thing like that, I'd be like, oh, okay, you know. He's been through the ringer, you know.
I feel like it holds like a little bit of weight, you know, like just.
And what do you call it? So how's it been out there in Tampa and everything? And you know, I follow you on Twitter. You're very vocal on Twitter. I feel like you and I have gotten into it a couple times on Twitter. I don't know.
I don't think we've gotten into it. I don't think so.
I think your wife got into it with me. Like she was coming at me. She was throwing darts at me.
Oh, did she?
No, I think so.
Man.
And I didn't.
But she's wild on Twitter. She might have. I don't know.
I didn't realize it was your wife until later. I was like, oh shit, you know. I was like, oh shit. Like I was like, I'm glad I was like respectful and shit. I was like, I didn't say anything foul or something. No, but we were like on the same page.
What was that even about?
It had to be about. It probably was around the time of the Joe Maz and Jonathan. Yeah.
Okay.
The Jonathan Schechter debate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That was a popular episode.
Very popular. It's still to this day.
But I feel like a lot of people were angry with us. A lot of people disagreed with us. They thought we were trying to clout chase and all of this bullshit. But we, you know, I don't think.
I'll be honest. I think I felt like a type of way about it at the time.
Yeah.
But once I saw it, and once I saw how y'all were moderating it,
right,
and I kind of like I was like, all right, I see where the direction is going. It wasn't just like it wasn't a platform for him to just spew shit that wasn't true, or You know what I'm saying? It was a healthy debate. So
Yeah.
I think it was more like just like the announcement of you guys doing it.
Yeah.
People were like, "Oh shit! Like, what are y'all doing?" Like,
Right.
you know. I mean, after watching it, like, I think it was a good conversation, and I think it needed to be had, and people needed to see.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Appreciate
I
that.
appreciate that. I was under the hot seat. I think out of all four of us on the podcast, I may be more vocal on Twitter than, you know, Never and D Miles. And then Jamie just talks about, I don't know, his feelings. I don't know what the fuck he talks about on Twitter.
You know, Twitter's
Yeah, but now I was getting a lot of the heat from people. And I just wish they just watched the episode. And, you know, some of them did watch it and they still hated what we did, but honestly, like, I respect that too. I think your wife was on the same page as me, but she just wanted to kind of add on to something.
It's a tense time, man.
Yeah.
Like misinformation is a huge thing, and it's kind of it's fucking it up for a lot of people. So
right, I feel like there's no real kind way of getting your message out on Twitter either. You kind of got to be a smart ass a little bit. Like there's no kind way. You know, you only have like 140 characters, so that all that nicety has to get eliminated, and you just kind of got to throw, you know, your message out like point blank at somebody.
Yeah, you know? I've also found like people like in general will just like pick apart every single thing on Twitter, right? To the point where it's like they're like twisting your words to like kind of fit their own like view on shit. Where it's like, man, like like at the end of the day, like I feel like the majority of people, I mean, at least myself, like when I tweet shit, it's coming from a good place, you know, like it's coming from a place of like wanting to help people and wanting to make sure we do this shit that's happening in Florida like responsibly, you know. And it's just like a lot of people sometimes they just tear shit apart on the internet, man. Like, and they don't bother to actually like look at the message behind it. They're just like, oh no, one little trigger word or something, or one little, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just
so
the internet, man.
You've been on Twitter. You've been very adamant during the whole pandemic about safety, taking the necessary precautions. Yeah, double masking even at times. And what I found really, I don't know, I was really kind of like, yo, like, I really respected this because I know it's not easy. You were getting tested every week, right?
I still get tested every week. Yeah. Every Wednesday I'm tested.
Yeah.
I get that shit shoved up my nose every Wednesday. So I have I have my results I have my results before the weekend every weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn, that's good.
Has that gotten kind of expensive though for you to get tested weekly?
It's underneath my health insurance, thankfully.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I don't got to worry about that. But I mean, still, even outside of the cost of it, like there's still means and there's still ways to get tested for free. The city of like where I live, I've shown all my homies too that don't have health insurance. I'm like, the city of Tampa offers this shit for free, like right here at Ray J, you know, 3 times a week. All you gotta do is sit in line. That's it.
Yeah.
You know. I don't think there's an excuse to not do it.
Right.
You know, like
the free ones it takes a long time though. That's the
it does take a while. Yeah,
that's CVS, boy. That's
how long does it take? Like a week?
It just takes.
Bro, I remember one week I fucked up on my CVS, like filling out the thing online. I accidentally ordered like a rapid test or something that just the rapid tests aren't, as everyone knows, are not as accurate as like the PCR test or whatever. And my wife was like, "No, we got to get the PCR one done." And I was like, "Well, there's a city one," and we ended up waiting. I'm not even joking you, like 3.5 hours, 3 hours. Like it's a while, but I mean,
just like anything, when you broke everything takes a longer time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's fucking life. Man.
That's life, man. That's why. Yeah. That's why when you get a little bit of money and you know somebody, you skip the line, like in everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when you. So the free COVID test is gonna be a fucking pain in the ass. Yeah, I got tested a few, like maybe twice, and that shit was. I mean, it's exhausting. You know what I'm saying? It's not.
Yeah.
It's definitely not fun, man. So wait, you've been working for how long now? Because Florida is like the wild, wild west.
So
right.
So all right. So just talking about like Florida and specifically where I am, because I'm in Tampa, and a lot of the cities in Florida are kind of like they have their own rules, they have their own ordinances. Because I think the biggest problem with Florida is that there's no like clear like view of what people are doing to regulate and make sure that shit is safe. Like from a state level, our governor is like, open it all, open market, no rules, no capacity rules. Like
his only thing is like protect the old people, right? Protect the old people and protect the I saw an interview with him. He was kind of bragging like, oh, we got this thing figured out. We got the formula. I don't want to affect businesses. And what we do is we put more attention to protecting the old and people with pre-existing conditions. But it's kind
but
of,
I mean, to be fair, like, I mean, that's kind of like how is he protecting older people? You know what I'm saying? If everything's open back up, like there are going to be people that don't take it as seriously, and ultimately it's going to affect older people, which is why I'm so adamant about taking this shit seriously and being safe about it. Because like the way that I look at it is, regardless if I DJ or my friends DJ or anyone in Florida DJs or not, Florida was going to be open regardless. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't up to us. Like we didn't go write letters to the governor to open our clubs back up. Like, nah, he did that on his own. So if we're stuck in this position where it's like, all right, well, these clubs, these bars are going to stay open, and you can either continue with what you're doing or you're just done with DJing at that point, like I chose to continue with DJing. But if I'm going to do that, like I have to be, and I think we owe it to ourselves and we owe it to our community. We owe it to our grandparents and immunocompromised people to be as safe as possible. Like I need to know in my heart and I need to know in my mind that I know for a fact I am not contributing to this spread. The shit's going to be open regardless. But if I'm going to be a part of this workforce, I need to know for my own peace of mind that I know for a fact I am not helping to spread this. You know what I'm saying? I get my test results before every single weekend, like just for peace of mind. If I don't get my test results, I'm not working.
I think it's very different. I think, remember in the beginning of the pandemic, everyone was shaming the DJs who kept working. And I really thought that was like really short-sighted because they're not affecting the industry. The club owners are affecting the industry, right? They're staying open. It's not like they're Diplo. Like if they have a huge following, that's very different. When you're like attracting, it's like, when city girls are performing at a big club, that's wildly irresponsible, right? Because they're attracting a large group of people, you know what I'm saying? So that's very different from a local dude like yourself, And
it's just like, but also that also kind of feeds into like how whatever venue that they're booked at is handling the situation. Because a lot of venues with the governor literally being like, everything's open, there's no regulations, we're open for business. A lot of these people just don't give a fuck. And they're just like, like no mask, no capacity limit, like we don't care kind of shit, And so that's when local government, like our mayors, step in and they're like, like this is out of hand. Like we don't want to be known as like the super spreader city or like whatever, So they enforce all these other ordinances that come down. And it's just like this. I think that's the problem with Florida is like no one really knows like what the direction or what the kind of like the temperature of like the scene should be, because the governor's saying one thing, our mayor's saying another thing, and people are just like, at this point, they're like, we're hearing so much shit, like we don't give a fuck no more. So there's so many people that just stop caring. And that's honestly like the worst part of being down here, like I'm trying to do the most responsible thing I possibly can while working in what we know is just a crazy environment and crazy time to be in clubs. Yeah. And whenever I talk on Twitter and whenever I talk, my close circle of friends, like they're all on board with the same shit. Cause they know like at the end of the day too, it's like all eyes are on Florida too. It's kind of like the Kim Kardashian thing where like people were getting mad at her for posting like lavish parties on Instagram during a pandemic while everyone is like on, have lost their jobs, lost their homes. Right. And it's like, it's tone deaf, it's like, man, like that's just not a cool look. So if people are DJs, people in our community are going to be looking at Florida, I personally want to let these people know, like, like we're not like all fucking Florida man down here. Like there are a few of us that really do care and are trying to set an example and, take what we have seriously. Cause I mean, at the end of the day, like I know a ton of people that would love to be working right now. Yeah. Like thoughts on the pandemic aside, I know a ton of people that would love to work. There are DJs that are moving all around the country right now to places that are open just to keep working, So it's like, if we're going to be one of the few spots that are able to work, I think we should set an example and let people know that we are trying to take this seriously. At least the few, key leaders in nightlife in our respected cities or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I thought you were really thoughtful in how you represented yourself and what was going on during the Super Bowl in Tampa, right? Because if there ever was a time to market yourself and flex, right, it's got to be when the Super Bowl is in Tampa, right?
Go
like,
illy willy with shit.
It's kind of hard not to go like buck wild crazy and then just like flood the social media with all the dope shit that's happening, right? So I thought you were really thoughtful about that shit, but I don't know what was going on, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's the thing. This is like, it kind of goes back to what I was just saying. Like, it's just like, I'm not gonna sit here and post packed clubs on my IG story, man. Right. Like, for what? For clout during a pandemic? Like, I'm lucky to be working right. I don't need to rub it in your face.
Yeah.
Like,
but between us and our listeners, where those clubs,
thousands,
the clubs were packed, right?
Was Super Bowl wild? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, the clubs were packed, though, right? The clubs were packed.
Super Bowl was wild, for sure. You don't need me to tell you that, though. Like, there'll be pictures out. Like, I'm sure there will be. Like, you don't need me to tell you that. That was a given, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's everyone.
What do you think is the statute of limitations for you to post those videos later on, like 5 years from now?
Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm not even saving any of these videos, man. Nah. Like, if I post stuff from the nightclubs, it's literally like just me, like my face, or like DJ equipment. It's rarely ever like a crowd. You know what I'm saying?
Can you do me a favor? Can you document some of this, but do a throwback Thursday, maybe 3 years from now or 4 years from now?
Tag cricket.
So the clubs you've been DJing at, is it like really packed?
A couple of them are, yeah. It kind of depends. Like I said, like no one's on the same page in Florida. Like, there's no universal like plan of how to open safely. It's kind of up to each business's discretion. Mm-hmm. So there are venues that I work for that take it very seriously. There are venues that I work for that haven't opened because they're just like, yo, this is not right. Like, we don't want no part in this, and blah, blah, blah. There are venues that do regulations like half capacity, mask required. And then there's other venues that just don't give a fuck. But, you know, it's just, it kind of depends on like who you're working for and what city you're in. Mm-hmm. You know, like, I know Miami's got a curfew an 11 p.m. curfew.
Yeah, I thought it was midnight, but yeah, I think
something like that, right? And then I found out like Fort Lauderdale is just like a free for all,
right?
Which is only like 20 minutes away, 30 minutes away,
pretty much.
Yeah,
so it's just like there's no like
rhyme or reason.
It's just like nothing really makes sense. Like right now, it's just like so. If people have every right to be confused. I mean, because, you know, the mayor's saying one thing, the governor's saying another thing. So it's just like, man, like, no one knows what to believe anymore. And I don't really blame them.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's just like all the information is accessible to us.
Yeah. There's no unified leadership anywhere, you know? And it's kind of like we've been seeing what's been going on in Cali and New York. Uh-huh. Some of it doesn't make sense. They're going to open it up when the numbers are crazy. Yeah.
That was another thing too. Like I saw like I've seen some like I got a lot of friends in Cali, and I've seen some like wild house parties out there.
Yeah,
and I've seen wild house parties in Miami too, man. Like people turning like living rooms into nightclubs, selling their living room couch for like $10,000, like wild. So I mean, like it's kind of like a thing that I think more people should talk about. Where it's like, man, like these places that are open, do you think they're having more or less spikes in their numbers comparatively to a place that's holding illegal parties with absolutely zero regulation, and no one's there to tell you like put your mask up, or we're at half capacity, we can't let no bar in no more. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like it's just a wild time, man. Like,
did you take extra precautions for Super Bowl weekend or no?
Yeah, I double masked that whole weekend, man. I double masked the entire weekend, and honestly, moving forward, I'm gonna try to probably still do it. It's a little uncomfortable, but I mean, it's for peace of mind. Like, it's worth it. Like, there's a whole new strain out and shit now that I hear about. I'm like, man, like this is getting crazy.
How many hours are you DJing? Like, how many hours are your set? 6 hours or?
Depends where I'm at. Normally it's like 3. I'll headline. I'll have an opener for me sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I recently did a gig this past weekend, and I double masked and shit, and I was spinning, and you know, people were coming up requesting certain things, but they were like, you know, they were being safe. They had a mask too. And then these two dudes just ran into the booth and like grabbed me because they wanted to request something. And I usually don't flip out, and I fucking flipped out, you know? Like, the waitresses were shocked, and they were like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, like, the fuck are you touching me? And why are you walking up to me without a fucking mask?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh. And I was like, yo, put on your fucking mask. And then he put on his mask, and then his boy wanted to fight me. And I'm like, yo, like, why would you want to fucking fight with me? And then security walked up and shit. And he understood, but I was just like, first of all, maybe I shouldn't have gotten that mad, but maybe I shouldn't. Like, I didn't really know. I was kind of like, damn, man, I probably shouldn't have, like, flipped the fuck out like that, you know? But
you know what's wild? You know what's wild to me, though, about that whole situation? Like, just the entire, like, mask debate in general is, like people like you just said, you're right. Like, people are, like, adamantly, like, anti-mask or anti, like they're adamantly like, yo, you a sucker for wearing one. Like, you a sheep, blah, 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 blah. Like, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just, but it's like, yo, it's a piece of fucking cloth on your face that don't even affect you, bro. Like, why is this even a debate? Like, why are we even talking about this? Why are there even anti-maskers? I don't even understand that. Like, it don't even affect you, bro. Like, what's the issue here?
I don't think those dudes were anti-maskers. I think they were just drunk and they were so caught up in the moment. You know, like I was playing reggaeton and he came up and he was just like, "Hey, Bad Bunny," and I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna play your request, but he kind of grabbed me in excitement. You know, pause. You know, but like, I was just like, you know, and then normally I would have just been like, oh shit, you know, I maybe would have been vibing with him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he kind of grabbed me, and it's like a different time, and I was mad at myself because I was like, I fucked up. I definitely fucked up his night. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And I felt like shit. Guy. Yeah, because he was excited, he was into the music, and he grabbed me, but I was flipping the fuck out. You know. But
better safe than sorry, bro.
I know.
Yeah,
you know
no, for sure.
But I definitely felt like a piece of shit. Like, I was like, I fucked up his night. You know, I like Bad Bunny too. You know, like,
I feel like when I first started coming back out to DJ again, very, very, very much on the same page. Like, yo, like don't come anywhere near me. Like, I don't want no one in the booth. If anyone does come talk to me, like, make sure they have their mask on. I'm telling security, that kind of shit. At a certain point, it becomes so disheartening out here because there are so many people that literally do not give a fuck.
You're in a red state too, right? Florida's a red state.
Florida is a red state. Yeah.
So are you a minority? Like, as far as the mask, you're like a small percentage that actually thinks that masks help, right? Or like prevent shit. Yeah. So that's really disheartening. I was gonna ask you, how like tough it is to navigate, because I see you on Twitter.
It's just disheartening, man. Like, it's just like. It's disheartening seeing so many people that, like, don't give a fuck. But at the end of the day, like, I have to tell myself, like I said earlier, like, with or without me, these people are gonna be out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not Diplo. Like, you're right. Like, people aren't buying tickets to come see me. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be out here with or without me here. I think the best thing that I could do in the position that I'm in is let my peers know that, yo, as DJs and as key players in the nightlife scenes, promoters, et cetera, bartenders, like, we should be trying to set an example. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the most important thing to be doing. If bartenders are required to wear a mask, why the fuck should the DJ be required to wear a mask? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And some people are just it's disheartening sometimes talking with DJs that just don't think that way. And I'm like, you're taking this ability that we have to work for granted, because we've been shut down before. We've been shut down twice before. For, like I said, like the mayor and the governor imposing their own ordinances, and the mayor trying to get around what the governor has said, it ends up shutting down businesses for a while. We've been shut down twice. And I'm like, you don't think this could happen again? Of course it can. You know, like, so the governor made a rule that no businesses were to be shuttered because of COVID. And then what ended up happening was the Department of Business and Labor here in Florida came back around and said that if you're not wearing a mask, you can't, or something along the lines of no on-site alcohol sales, which basically shuttered clubs, but like in a sidestep type of way.
Right.
You know, like if you can't sell alcohol on premise. So restaurants were okay, but anything that had 50% more alcohol, you couldn't sell alcohol on premise. So it effectively shuttered down clubs. And then the other time that we got shut down was just our mayor going after her mask ordinances, and they had some wild. They still have it going on right now, which don't make sense to me, where it's like, if you're in a nightclub in Tampa, you have to be seated with a drink in your hand to have your mask off. And then if you're not seated with a drink in your hand, you have to have your mask up. But it's just like, yo, this is just creating so much confusion for people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like sitting down, so like we're playing fucking like musical chairs in the middle of the nightclub sometimes. It's ridiculous. So
it's kind of like that in Vegas though, a little bit. Where like in Vegas it's only table reservations, right? And then like if you're not at your table and you're walking to the bathroom or you're whatever, you have to have a mask on.
Yeah, so it's like it's just creating confusion for people, I think, and it's just like a way for from what I see, it's the city going after licenses and trying to control this, but in its really own weird way. Yeah. So yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I kind of get it though, and I just think it's one of those things. You're like,
I do kind of get it because it's like, someone has to act like a parent here at some point,
right?
It can't just be me and my DJ friends trying to set an example. Like there needs to be a higher force here at play. But at the end of the day, it's just like this isn't something that's broad across the spectrum here. It's like individual businesses being targeted, and it's like, well, okay, this tiny little business got a ticket because they fucked up, but this massive club over here doing the same shit, they don't get fucked up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like then people start pointing fingers, and it creates chaos. It's just like there's no universal like this is what we're supposed to be doing type of thing down here.
Are the spots that you're DJing at allowing general admission, or is it only table reservations?
Most of them are well, it's like half and half. I've got a few venues that are tables only, and I got a few venues that are general admission, just off the street. Then I got a few venues that are doing like just straight half capacity type stuff. Like I said, it just depends. Like people are doing different things.
It's funny because these clubs aren't making money because they're not. Well, the ones in Vegas, they're making money because they're not spending as much money on the bigger acts. So they're still getting the table reservations that they want. They're still making a profit, even though it was at 50% capacity at one point, which was early on. And, they were paying the DJs a little bit less. So their expenses were like super down. But their
staffing is cut in like 75% as well. So that's another...
But they were still making a profit, so they were still doing good. And I remember talking to a few managers, and they're like, I wish we could just open up the bar and just have people at the bar because we would be killing it right now. And it's just one of those things where, they already know that their expenses are down, but there's still the revenue coming in. I don't know if it's the same thing in Florida. Maybe the spots are a little bit different. There's not as many bottle service pushing on at the clubs and whatnot.
I mean, table service is definitely still really, really big out here sure. Yeah. It's kind of interesting to see where we're going to go from here because, I mean, pretty much for lack of a better words, like I've been telling you guys about how our mayor's been putting on all these ordinances, trying to like do her thing to limit whatever spread is happening. You know what I'm saying? But she pretty much like flip-flopped once she heard that Super Bowl was coming to town. Once the Bucks won that last NFC championship and they were coming to Tampa back home, like she pretty much just sold out, which that's pretty much what happened. Like her ordinances went from, having code enforcement out on the streets every night, dipping through clubs and giving out tickets to people that weren't following sitting or standing with a mask on, all that crazy stuff, to we're going to look at this more from an encouragement point rather than an enforcement point, which basically meant we're not going to check y'all. So once Super Bowl came to town, like I said earlier, Super Bowl was crazy out here, man. Like there was an act booked at pretty much every venue that I know. There were venues popping up in town that I have never heard of before, booking huge acts. Like a bowling alley got rented out here. Like,
damn.
Wow.
Yeah, like. So I'm really interested to see what she does like from here on out because
were you going just to work and coming back that Super Bowl weekend, or did you go to the parade? It's okay, you could be
no. I don't do shit, man. If I'm not getting paid to be outside of the house, it's very rare for me to be outside of the house, especially doing something indoors. Like I'll hang out with my boys like on a boat or something like that, or like eat outside or at least try to eat outside. But if as far as like nightclubs and bars, like no, I don't visit bars or nightclubs if I'm not working. If I'm gonna risk being out, at least do it for money, man. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
we're such whores.
If you don't mind me asking, are you getting paid close to what you normally get paid, or is it Is it about the same almost, pretty much?
It's exactly the same.
That's good. Wow. That's good.
It's exactly the same, and if not a little bit more in some spots.
Did it go up for Super Bowl weekend?
Yeah, pay went up for Super Bowl weekend too. Yeah.
Nice.
That's good.
Yeah, it was like New Year's times 10 out here for sure.
Yeah.
You guys been on a rampage for sports, man. The Tampa Bay Rays was in the World Series. I'm sorry, the Dodgers beat them. And the Lightning won, and then the Buccaneers won. So you guys been on a rampage. Were the rules being changed for all these events? Because I'm sure bars were packed out for those games and stuff like that.
So, like I said, I feel like our mayor kind of flipped when it came to the hospitality industry. Like when her eagle eye on bars and restaurants and nightclubs and all that kind of switch to looking at more of whatever the NFL's main areas were, because those were going to be the televised areas, I guess. I don't know, the whole the NFL experience and whatever sanctioned events Super Bowl had, there was an ordinance in place where you had to be masked up even if you were outside at all times. But the wild shit is, from what I heard, not a single ticket was actually given out.
Damn.
So
you would think you would make more money with that too, because the police quota is being met and the money goes up high.
Well, it's also the tourist experience. No one wants to give a tourist a ticket.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's kind of what I thought too, and that's why I'm she did flip her whole stance on this shit once she saw the money coming in, and I'm not really too happy about that. But
I mean, it's like I said, it's not ideal, but it's we're in a capitalist, this whole country is built around money, so it's I think with an opportunity like that, and for a bunch of businesses to recoup a bunch of money,
it's such a double-edged sword, man. It really is. I think people, and this is just my opinion, I think people need to kind of try to look at it from every angle before they're quick to judge people that are either working or, you know what I'm saying? Because there are a few of us, myself included, that are trying to take this as responsibly as we possibly can. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even saying I'm fucking perfect. I'm not, we're all human. Has there been a time where my mask has been down? I mean, maybe, yeah, probably. But it's up 99% of the time, and I have my test results 100% of the time before I go to work. So I know for a fact I'm not contributor to this, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I feel like more people, especially in Florida and Atlanta and Texas, all the places that are open, should be like that. We're one of the very few who are still able to work.
Yeah.
Just take it seriously, man.
You were Florida was one of the first places that opened up, pretty much. You were working since last year. Was it the summertime when you guys opened up, or July, August?
We opened late summer, and then we closed down again a month and a half later, 2 months later, and then we opened back up again. And then one of my other clubs just got shut down a month and a half before Super Bowl, and then they reopened for Super Bowl. So it's just been off and on, man. It's just like I said. That's another reason why. It's basically another reason why I'm so to at least my peers, my DJ peers, we should be doing everything we possibly can to try to keep this, this opportunity we have to work, and just don't be reckless with it, because, I like working. You know what I'm saying? A lot of DJs would kill to have the opportunity to work.
Right.
And I know that I'm lucky to still be able to do it.
Are you one of the DJs that are working that are hating on the streaming DJs?
No, I just saw that. I saw that the other day, and I was like, "Who is saying this?" I even said something. I was like, "Everyone is talking about this right now," but I haven't seen a single tweet that's been "Yo, fuck streaming." I'm like I didn't see that.
Shout to Bella Fiasco. I know she's gonna fucking hate me about this, even though I'm breaking her balls. But shout to Bella. We love you, Bella. But Bella tweeted out to the effect that's there were DJs who were hating on streaming DJs, which I haven't really seen, but I know a bunch of DJs who hate certain streaming DJs, but not all of them. Do you know what I'm saying?
As a collective.
Yeah. As a collective, as a new platform, I haven't seen that, but I can understand maybe someone came at her. Do you know what I'm saying? And I totally understand that shit. But I haven't seen anybody hating on the actual platform of streaming DJs. But I have seen a lot of motherfuckers hating on certain DJs
So,
who have
so what's funny about her is like, so you know how like your Twitter timeline will like show you like what the people you follow like.
Yeah.
So I haven't met her, and I don't follow her on Twitter.
Yeah.
But I liked one of her posts, like I guess her original post, like talking about people hating on streaming DJs.
Yeah.
And then I saw more people talking about it and replying, and other tweets in general. Like, I feel like that one just started the whole thing, and I like made my post. I was like, yeah, I don't see no one talking about this. And then she like retweeted it, and she was like, people can have conversations outside of Twitter. And I was just like, yeah, all right. I was like, okay. Like, I gave her the wild thumbs up. I was like, all right, cool.
Give
like
me
I
the
was
spice.
Yeah, I know. I was like, yo, I wasn't even like I don't even know how she found that tweet to retweet. She don't follow me either.
I like it. I mean, I like it. Yo, she what do you call it? Like I completely I know a lot of dudes who hate certain streaming DJs, and she's killing it on that platform. And she's really doing.
All right, here's my question though. Is like, what are they saying? Like, what could they possibly say?
So this is the conversations that I've heard that people tell me, and I'm just kind of like, But like, she's doing really well. She's in a handful of a bunch of DJs who are doing really, really well on streaming. Actually, a lot of motherfuckers are doing well on streaming. Even Never, you're making a living on streaming. You're doing pretty good. I don't know about making a living, but you're
living.
Good, yeah.
You're paying some bills.
Paying a couple of bills.
You're making some money on streaming. So I haven't met one motherfucker who was taking streaming seriously not make money. Do you know what I'm saying? So, but Bella is doing really, really well. So I think when you're doing well and you're at the top, people are just gonna hate, and they're gonna pick you apart and find anything negative that you do and turn it around. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't think she's doing anything wrong. I don't think anyone's on streaming is doing anything wrong. I just think when motherfuckers are doing well and they're getting a lot of attention on Twitter, it's only natural for motherfuckers to want to talk shit because maybe they can't achieve that same success. So, and I see it from a lot of different ways. So I try to see it another way, which is maybe there are dudes or some people, some DJs who have really been hit hard by the pandemic, have had family members that are sick, pass away. Maybe they're going through a ton of shit that hasn't allowed them some free time to actually stream. And then they're seeing a bunch of DJs on Twitter just go off on how streaming is the best and all of this. And then I can understand how those dudes can hate. Do you know what I'm saying? So from all angles, I can see how everyone can hate on someone.
This is just like we were saying. It's just the internet, man.
Yeah.
Like I've had hate from DJs locally here in Florida that are just like tearing apart everything that I've been saying on Twitter. Just like I'm some sort of like mass Nazi or some shit. I don't even know. but you know what the funniest thing was is that like I'm so like exhausted of having the conversation about does mass do or don't work. At this point, I'm literally just telling like other DJs that are here in Tampa and other parts of Florida specifically, like, yo, how about you just wear it so we don't get shut down again? How about that?
Yeah.
Like, how about that? Like, just period. Like, I'm not even going to talk to you about if it works or not anymore because that conversation goes nowhere with you. But how about just so we don't close? Because I know you like working.
Yeah.
Like, so how about that? It's wild, man. People pick apart everything, dude. Like, they really do.
It's really exhausting. I'm exhausted with that mask thing too. I'm exhausted with a bunch of, I'm exhausted with politics. I'm kind of just, I don't agree with, like, I don't think it's productive to just literally curse out politicians on Twitter. Do you know what I'm saying? 100% fuck Donald Trump. But I don't feel
I was about to say, I'll still say my piece on him.
Yeah. I mean, fuck Donald Trump all day, all night. I don't give a fuck about him. But for me to actually tweet out, fuck Donald Trump out of nowhere, you know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Random Tuesday at 3:00.
Yeah.
Damn, yo! I literally just tweeted that like 2 days ago. After the impeachment shit, I literally just tweeted that. I was like, yo, it's still fuck Donald Trump.
Yeah, but my whole thing is like, why? What do you like? I always want to know. So I want to ask you a question. What do you get out of that? Because I don't understand. Like, I would think that. I just wouldn't think to put it on Twitter. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't.
You know what it is? It's not like we get anything out of it per se. It's just being frustrated is all, like just having him escape off a second impeachment. And beyond that, it's like, I mean, now we're getting into fucking politics, and we don't need to be here. But
right,
it's just
we
like
just said we hated this topic.
I know.
But
yeah, like you know what I'm saying. Like it's just not a good look for the.
Well, maybe like break down the relationship with Twitter, because I don't understand motherfuckers who put their whole soul and everything on Twitter, and they get mad at motherfuckers for responding to everything that they put out. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why did you put that shit out there? It's like it's like all of these like rappers that hate on like academics, saying that he's contributing to like violence in the streets and in hip hop. But it's all of these rappers that are like snitching on themselves.
doing it.
Yeah, it's like you're putting your crime on the internet, and then you're mad at this motherfucker for reposting you to like a larger audience. It doesn't make sense. Like, don't put your shit on the internet and it won't be out there. Like, this motherfucker will not have anything to post.
You know what's really funny, speaking on that topic? Okay, so there's an Instagram page that started as COVID DJs. I don't know who's behind this.
Yes.
But there's a COVID DJs Instagram page, right?
I saw it.
You saw that, right?
I think I saw
it.
it.
Yeah, I saw that page like months and months and months ago, like at the beginning of the pandemic. And the whole page was literally just like, we're outing DJs who are throwing illegal parties and illegal raves and house parties, and they're outing promoters and whatever. And then someone made a COVID DJs Florida page, which didn't really make sense to me, only because everybody knows that we're open. So it's like, what are you really outing? Like exposing? Like, everyone knows Florida's open. Like, well, I don't understand what they're exposing. But another homie of mine got blasted on the page. Like, they like took his like Instagram movie story, like recorded it and put it on their actual feed, and it was just like him like not masked up and shit like that. And I was like, yo, man, like, this is the kind of shit that I'm talking about. Like, whenever I talk my piece about masks, I'm like, I don't actively put videos of myself unmasked. I'm actively masked all the time. Like, why would anyone even put that footage of themselves out there, especially with the fact that these are fighting city ordinances and fighting the mayor to stay open, but you're sitting here giving the city fuel to argue their case. Like, yo, you work for this club and you're not messed up. Like, what are you doing? Like, and now people grab it and put it on the internet and put people on blast and shit. I'm like, there's like one simple thing you could have been doing this whole time, man. Like, just put your mask on, dog. Like,
everyone just needs to like really just practice being like tactful about what they're putting on the internet and like on social media. And that's basically, I think that's just basically it. But
I mean, I think it should extend to their actual life as well. I think they should be taking it seriously as well, not just for social media, but in terms of like what we're talking about. Like, yeah, you're not helping argue your case by blatantly putting out videos of you not giving a fuck. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's why people look at Florida so wild.
Yeah,
because it's just like people out here doing that.
But Florida is wild though. Let's look.
Florida's wild. Florida's wild.
Have a track record.
Florida's wild. Yeah, Florida's wild.
Florida's wild. Like,
it's not just one thing.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Florida's wild. I look at Florida like, I'm like, oh shit. Like, what year was this recorded? Like, was this 2018?
Yes, yesterday.
You have to look for clues and shit on the video.
Yeah.
Yo, are you born and raised in Tampa?
I was born in Baltimore, but I moved here when I was a kid.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So how long you been in Tampa? What age did you go to Tampa?
I mean, pretty much most of my life. I moved here when I was a kid. Like, I want to say like third grade, something like that. Like, I was like 8, maybe 7, something like that.
What is your background? Can I ask? Like, what is your background?
I'm half Chinese, half Burmese.
Half Chinese, half Burmese. Yeah. Okay. So you're Asian, like me. You're Asian.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a question, because I would travel to, first of all, I would like to say this. I'm surprised we haven't ran each other, in the club circuit. Man. Because I would travel a lot. I'm sure you travel, and I would go to Florida very, very often. But I'm shocked that I never really ran into you. And I will say that.
Yeah, it's weird, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I will say Florida has, some of the best DJs I've ever heard, particularly with nightclub DJing. I've seen it in Miami. Some of my favorite DJs are from Miami. I've been to Fort Lauderdale, and I've heard some monsters just like wrecking that shit on some like heavy hitter shit, on some crazy shit, just wrecking a club. Like, openers and closers opening for me. I'm like, what am I doing here? You're fucking you're ripping this shit. But I've noticed that every time I travel outside of Miami to like Central Florida or North Florida, there's this weird, it's like really racist. Like kind of like there's pockets of like experiences.
The thing with Florida is that if you look at a like county by county map of Florida,
yeah,
all the major metropolitan cities are all blue and Democrat and culturally diverse, and it's the other parts of Florida that you have to watch out for. It's everywhere in between all of these places.
Okay.
You know? I mean, Miami is definitely like, don't get me wrong, it's definitely like their own little world. Like it 100% is. Like I go down there a lot too. But I mean, I feel like Tampa's like, you know,
it's pretty
tiny Miami. It's like we're like its little baby brother.
Is it? Because I went to like Hollywood. I've DJed in Hollywood. I've DJed in Orlando, and literally in Orlando, I've had the opener tell, like, I tried to get a drink at the bar, and the bartenders ignored me, and the cocktail waitresses ignored me. And I talked to the opener, closer, and I was like, yo, I can't get a drink. And he's like, oh, yeah, they kind of racist here. Let me get you a drink. And then
in Orlando?
It had to
really?
be Orlando. Yeah. It was Orlando or somewhere outside of Orlando. What's another place? What's another? It's not, or maybe it's not Orlando, but it's around there. It's like
let's just call it Orlando for the sake of this conversation.
Okay. I don't want to.
I talk to a lot of my Orlando homies all the time, and I'm always telling them how Orlando's wild as shit.
Yeah.
And now it's just, ooh, thank you, you said that.
No, I'm saying, and I was shocked because he was, you know, I don't want to call him out because I feel like you can bleep this out, Jamie. And it was like weird when he told me that, and I was like, "Oh shit! Like, why are they?" And then he got me a drink, and I'm like, "So every time I want a drink, I gotta ask you." He's like, "Yeah, but I got you."
That's kind of fucked up.
That's fucked up. Yeah, that's fucked up.
It was so fucked up to a point when I was like, "Is this?"
Honestly, I wish you would remember the name of this club. Like,
I didn't. And
was it Tallahassee, Jacksonville?
Maybe it was Jacksonville, but it was like one of those.
Okay. On some real shit, I could kind of see that happening more in Jacksonville than Orlando.
Because it was.
I think like the further you get like north in Florida, the further like less Miami it becomes. So once you're talking like Jacksonville and the Panhandle and Tallahassee and all that, that's pretty much Alabama.
Right.
Like Gainesville, maybe, I don't know.
I know Gainesville. I remember if I was, because I would be a little nervous going to Gainesville, like just even. But like. No, it was. I thought he was like trolling me. Like I thought he was fucking with me for a second. You know?
Wow.
But because he would be like, "Yo, it's like, so how do I get paid?" He's like, "Let me walk you back there because they might kick you out." And I was just like, "Yo," like he kept.
Damn, what the fuck? He's like the beach cheating.
Yo,
why did they book you?
I know.
You.
Why does suit you?
That's the next question. Why'd you get booked there?
Yeah,
they didn't see a picture of you before they booked you.
Right?
It was not on the flyer.
It was the weirdest thing because he had to walk me to the back to get paid, and then like and I was just like the whole time I'm like, is he lying? Like, is he joke? Is he fucking with me? So then I started trying to make eye contact with staff members and being like, yo, what's up, man? Or like, hey, good night. And they wouldn't even look at me. They would like ignore me. They would just walk by.
Did you see any other Asian around you? You're like, oh, my brother. Like,
no.
Oh, you were by yourself.
The Asian community in Florida is like pretty small. Man.
Yeah, there's like it's almost impossible to get any good Asian food in Florida. Like,
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, it's impossible. Like Miami has every kind of good food except Asian.
Yeah, I want to actually give you props, Koo, because in the early 2010s, you kind of displayed Blue Martini, a venue, which is just a venue. You displayed them pretty well on YouTube, where you would put up other DJ sets.
Yeah,
you'll edit them down. How important was that for you to display that? Like, why did you do it? Like, you just did it out of fun, out of love, or what was the meaning behind that? Because you had, I got
really lucky with Blue Martini, and I honestly still miss the fuck out of that gig because it was one of the few instances, and this is really rare, where as a resident DJ, they gave me a $2,000 budget every month to do whatever I wanted to with. And that's pretty much like unheard of.
This is Blue Martini Tampa? Like Tampa, Blue Martini Tampa?
Yeah, it closed down now. It's not there no more, but yeah. Blue Martini, there's one in Vegas. There's one all over. There's one in like every major city in Florida. There's one in Arizona, Texas, Louisiana. They're everywhere. Yeah. But Yeah, they got that corporate money, I guess. I don't know. They gave me a budget. They gave me a budget every month to bring in DJs, and I looked at it like kind of like how I look at my Monday nights, as from a promoter's perspective. You know, like I like throwing my own parties. It's cool to have that creative control. It's cool to kind of mold and shape the night how you want. You know, it's something that's been more fulfilling for me as a DJ. Or outside of DJing, should I say? Just a different aspect of our nightlife scene that I've really enjoyed.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of YouTube.
I kind of picked it up from Blue. Yeah, like once they gave me like the $2,000 budget, I was like, "Yo, that's what's up, man!" Like now I can bring in out of town DJs, and I wanted to treat it as like the night had more precedence over me. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to fucking hear me every single Friday. Like Tampa's not a big town. There's only X amount of places you can go. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to hear me every single fucking week. I think I'm a firm believer that bringing in guest DJs helps to elevate the night in general.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it just adds variety. Like otherwise people get sick of my fucking routines, man. Like no.
Yeah, but you did very well where you displayed Blue Martini like the place to be at Tampa. So that's what I was like.
Jamie, what is this vernacular? What is this new way of talking you're doing right now? Like,
what do you mean?
Oh, very educated.
This like
I'm bringing up like 2 college degrees finally.
This is like Jamie. What is this? Like the Jamie, the radio personality
2.0, baby.
I've never seen this Jamie before, where he's like
real relaxed.
The way you displayed.
Motherfucker.
Like
those were good times though, man. I brought in a lot of 5 came through too.
Yeah.
We had Scene, we had Graham Stone.
So basically,
shout out to Blue because I had like buddies in the early 2000s that I grew up with that played for the Bucks, and that was their hangout. They were like, it was like Sunday night after a football game, Blue Martini on the weekends. That was the shit.
I remember there was a Friday night that Jameis Winston couldn't get in because he wasn't dressed the part. They didn't give a fuck.
Wow.
Yeah, they wouldn't let Jameis Winston in. I was like sitting right there in the front, watching him be denied. I was like, "Ooh!"
That was the star quarterback for the Bucks before Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Is this
that was the guy that stole all the crab legs, bro?
He looks like a nerd. Now he's a Saints quarterback, but he looks like a nerd. But I get why he didn't let him.
Wait,
inside.
What happened with the crab legs? What are you talking about? With
Jameis Winston got caught stealing crab legs from a grocery store out here.
Really?
Yeah, weird.
Something like that. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I remember
he was getting on kind of like weird little dumb shit for some reason.
Recently?
Bro.
Yeah.
Recently?
No.
A couple years back.
This
like at
is
least 5 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a while back.
I read online that you had like a crazy like Michael Jordan story. With I think Derek Jeter was involved too.
Yeah, that story.
Dude, tell us.
Yes. Let's hear.
So I mean,
he's literally preparing himself to tell this story.
It's so traumatizing. It's so traumatizing, yo. It's so traumatizing. I've never been more like embarrassed and put on the spot ever than this moment right here. It's like scarred me for life. I could never escape this story. But so there was a time when Jordan and when Jeter used to live here in Tampa because the Yankees had spring training down here. Derek Jeter and Michael Jordan used to throw like this golf invitational like thing every single year, and it'd be like a week's worth of parties leading up to this golf tournament thing that they do. And I remember one year I was DJing for them at this place called Hyde Park here, and Jordan was trashed, absolutely obliterated drunk. And this is pre-Serato, this is all vinyl. And he came up to me and he asked me for like JT Money. He asked me for JT Money, who dat? And I was like, all right, cool, I got it for you. And I'm like, as I'm mixing in the next record, he's asked me to play JT Money. I'm like, cool, I got it for you. Like, let me just think, like, I'll just play this next record and then I'll go grab it and it'll be the end of that story. Nope. That dude didn't give a fuck. He wanted to hear it now. And he was so wasted and he just like put his huge fucking hand on the turntable and stop the record. The music just stops, right? the whole club turns around and looks at like, yo, what happened to the music? Like, oh, and then they see it's Jordan there, drunk as shit in the DJ booth with me, holding the record still on turntable. And he's just like, find the record. And I was just like, yo, man.
Yes.
Wow.
I was like, yo, man.
And
I was like, are you serious?
And he's fucking tall. He's towering over you.
6'6".
Yeah, he's a big dude. But it just like completely like shattered like every childhood dream or like I had or like vision of this man growing up. You know what I'm saying? Like it just completely just shattered it. And I was like, man, like, oh man, like this is no.
So what happened? What happened after you played the record? Did he just walk away, or did he like?
Yeah, I found the record. It took me a minute too because I didn't keep JT Money at the front of my crate. Like it took me a second to find it. It wasn't like Toronto could type it in. Like I had it, but it just took me a minute. So there was like this awkward like couple seconds of silence, and then Jordan standing there, and then me just. It was so weird, man. And then I found it. I played it. He took his hand off and he walked away, and that was it. My entire Michael Jordan interaction. And I was just like,
no tips. Thank you.
No tips. No nothing.
Yo, speaking. You know what? Now that I'm on this Jordan shit talk rant. speaking of tips, let me just tell you. So, like I said, they did this party for like a couple years in a row, and every single bottle server hated Jordan. They hated him because he never tipped. Ever tipped.
Same in Las Vegas. He used to come out here to party, and the staff used to complain about him because he
never tipped, bro. The whole staff
never even paid for the fucking bottles.
No, never paid for the bottles and never tipped. And then if the question was even remotely brought up, it was all these people are here because of me. I don't got to pay shit. Type of thing.
Oh wow.
Damn,
I was just like, damn.
That's a very Jordan way to.
Oh yeah. Honestly, if you, I mean, we're all in the industry here. If you talk to any bartender, any server that has dealt with him before, I bet you all these stories will be the same.
Yep.
Like just like you said, Neva. Like this is his thing. This is what he does.
Yeah.
But that's a stigma on all athletes. A lot of athletes that they never tip. Like athletes.
That's
tip.
not true. That's not true. Because I've played for a couple of athletes that have been cool as shit.
Yeah, there's some that understand that shit, but a lot of athletes there's like in the industry, like there was in New York, they used to talk shit about Derek Jeter because Derek Jeter never tipped. Like he would.
Derek Jeter. I've met Jeter. Jeter is cool as shit. Actually, he's actually a really nice dude. I've met him before.
I've heard he's a great guy, but he doesn't tip. Like
great dude.
He doesn't tip.
I don't know about I haven't been around him to witness that. I remember like BJ Upton. BJ Upton gave me $750 one night to play. Wow. He gave me $750. So he goes, play hip hop for the rest of the night. It was like 1:30 in the morning. We closed at 3 out here. It was only like an hour and a half left in the night. And I was like, well, you just paid me more than I'm making tonight, so you're the fucking boss. What's up? Like, I played hip hop for the last hour. I was like, all right, yeah, man. Like, yeah.
So with the Jordan,
there's some cool athletes.
I remember talking to the staff, and the staff would break it all down on why athletes are so like entitled and they never tip. It's because if they're a dope athlete from high school, they're given everything. They're given sneakers, they're given cars, they're given scholarships, they're given everything. So when they're at a club, they just kind of see it as like, oh, this is what I get as an athlete. This is part of the whole thing. And then later they learn to like tip. Maybe later, like someone tells them what the fuck to do, but it's part of that thing where they're just constantly given everything from clothes,
and they don't completely understand the etiquette of a tip or what it is to be generous and how, because you're just like consider constantly handed everything.
Unless they've like maybe had parents who've worked in the service industry. Do you know what I'm saying? Or if they understand that whole shit, but a lot of them, they don't get it, you know? And I think Jordan is, I don't know. I don't know Jordan. I only know about Jordan is I've always seen him fucked up in Vegas, and wherever he is, you're bound to see Oakley, right?
Barkley.
Barkley.
Did you see Oakley that night? Was Oakley behind you too?
Charles Oakley, cool.
Honestly, I could have been in like tunnel vision the entire night because once that happened, like the whole room disappeared for me.
Oh.
Like once it happened, I was just like, oh my God, Michael Jordan is fucking with me right now.
Right.
Like,
He just
what do I do? Like, I don't even know what to do. I froze for a second. I was just like, oh shit, his hand is on the turntable. Like, oh man, like, what do I do? Like,
did he have his rings on?
I'm about to ask that too.
His hands with the ring.
That championship ring.
Yo, were you able to recover from that night? Were you able to like just get back into the groove and like enjoy the night, or was that shit just fucked up your whole night?
It fucked up my whole night.
Yeah,
it definitely fucked up my whole
so
night.
Fucking
because, like I said, man, like I everyone grew up on Michael Jordan, man.
Yeah.
Like he's like this is Space Jam. Like
yeah,
everyone grew up on this dude. Like just like, ruined every single like thought or dream I had of this guy in like in a couple of seconds. I was like, shit.
He's like, man,
And
Kobe Bryant could beat you actually.
bro. But the thing was, I was so hyped
My
too.
Jordan.
Like, this was one of those. This was one of those gigs that I was like you said earlier. Like I was stunting on this gig. I was like, I'm DJing Jordan's party.
Right.
Like, what's up? And then it happens, and the worst possible shit happens. I was like, all right, I'm never DJing for this guy again.
Yeah, I'm just imagining this motherfucker like getting texts the next day, like, yo, how was the Jordan party? He's gonna be like, well,
yeah. There's other times like I'll give you a Super Bowl story. I didn't choose to. I got booked with Lil Pump. I don't fuck with that dude.
You mean Lil Pimp?
I called him Lil Pimp on the mic. I don't think he noticed though. But he was pretty awful though, man. Like I'm just not a fan of his stuff, but he was just real unprofessional about it too. Like he's one of those artists that like didn't like they were supposed to do like a couple songs in the club, and he didn't give me like what songs he wanted to do. So I'm just like going off the top of my dome, like,
oh wow,
all right, what am I gonna play for this guy basically? Because he's supposed to do like 3 or 4 songs, but he didn't say shit to the DJs. He didn't say shit to me. So I did like Gucci Gang and like Cornell, and I love it. And I was like, all right, those are his top 3 biggest songs as far as I'm concerned, right? Mm-hmm. And then he was like, play more. And I was like, in the back of my head, I was going, what other fucking songs do you have that are gonna get this place popping right now? Like
he was like, yo, play my B-sides.
Yeah.
Wait.
I ended up playing D-Rose, but still, it was just like that was one of those celebrity interactions that I just like. It didn't go right, but I didn't care because I was like, I'm gonna fuck about this dude.
Wait, when was this? Was this recently?
This was Super Bowl weekend.
This just happened. Yeah, that's fucking nuts.
Damn, Lil Pump got booked.
That's the more crazy thing, isn't it? That he got booked.
But I mean, it's wild. People still came out to see him, man.
Well, he's a Florida boy, so I can kind of see it.
Where's he from? Is he from?
He's from Orlando, I believe.
Orlando,
right?
okay.
The Cuban kid too. So.
I thought he was from Miami, but I don't know.
I think he was South Florida.
That's fucking.
I don't know that dude is mad cornball. So I don't even pay attention to that dude.
You know,
so when I saw I was booked him, and I was like, oh man, damn it. I've been out here talking all this shit about Trump, and now this fucking guy got booked on this night with me. Like,
it's funny because when you work at the clubs like that, and you know you're a real working club DJ. When you're in a club like that, it's really hard to get unfazed because you've just been through so many disasters and catastrophes in the club. So it's like after a certain amount of years, you're just like nothing can kind of phase you or take you out of your element when you're DJing. And then and a lot of DJs that I talk to, like new and young DJs come up, they want to go into clubs and they get frazzled so quickly. They get really frazzled and they don't understand like you really need to put in those years, those 3 to 5 years to really just be good under pressure and to know how to like deal with all of these catastrophes and not get phased. And that's why some of these OGs or some of these other dudes are steadily working in these clubs because there's something going wrong constantly. The mic, the mixer, the sound, the performance. Every time there's a performance, I'm like, oh my God, what's going to happen now, right? This guy's gonna come late.
I can't stress that enough, man. Yeah. I was playing like basically like tech dude for some of these DJs that came to town,
right?
To DJ that they couldn't hook their Serato up, like
and it's really tough like, when you have like an artist that just kind of like maybe put their boy on and he's the tour DJ, and you have to deal with that dude, and he probably has no idea what he's doing, and you kind of like you said you have to end up becoming like tech dude / like you have to like. Kind of like alleviate the whole situation and almost do a show for him. And I've been through those.
It's pretty much. Yeah.
Oh, what do you call it? I actually wanted to congratulate you because I think you got married like last year, like right before the pandemic, right?
Literally right before, like 2 weeks before lockdown.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got
crazy.
married in the beginning of March, and I think your anniversary is coming up. Your 1 year anniversary, right?
Yeah, March 1st. Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. Because I was thinking,
we thank you. We never got to go on our honeymoon though, or nothing like that.
I was gonna ask about that.
Straight into lockdown. Straight into lockdown.
It's such a shame. And I was thinking, when I was reading about that, like you just got married and the pandemic started. I was like, what a test to a bunch of newlyweds, right? To just go immediately into a pandemic and quarantine with your new wife. No honeymoon, no nothing, right? Just go straight into that situation. And then like financial crisis, like all kinds of shit. Like it's
all kinds of shit. Bro.
all kinds of shit. In your first year of marriage, for all of that shit to just fall on you guys as soon as you got married.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that whole thing. It's crazy.
It was absolutely crazy. But honestly, like my girl and I have been together for 10 years now.
Yeah.
So honestly, marriage wasn't anything like super new or like I don't think a whole lot changed, to be honest. I think her and I were just grateful that we were able to gather with all of our friends like before we got into lockdown. So we went into lockdown, but we had just finished seeing literally all of our friends. Yeah. So that was cool. It was a blessing.
That's dope.
For sure.
How was your Valentine's Day? How was your Valentine's Day? Wait.
Valentine's Day.
And I'm asking from four guys who didn't really celebrate Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I'm gonna celebrate on Wednesday. Me and my wife are gonna go to dinner on Wednesday, but because she worked last night.
Okay.
So we just chilled. We didn't do anything. It's not. What I mean, once you're in a relationship for like 10 years, like you start doing these things to do what works for you, as opposed to like making shit happen just because it's Valentine's Day. Like it's just another day for us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Every day is Valentine's Day, huh?
We'll celebrate it, but we're not gonna stress ourselves out celebrating it. Like I'm not gonna fight the dinner reservation rush or all that shit. Like we'll just do it on our own time. Like it's chill.
That's a very industry way of doing shit, though, right? Like kind of doing it to avoid all the crowds and all of the like the fucking cornballs and tourists who are trying to get it all done in that one day.
Yeah.
I just think it's
like, but it's also just the fact that we're in a pandemic too, though. You know, like we don't need to be going out to eat with everyone on the same day. Like we'll go in the middle of the week.
Man, well,
I hope that you have a wife that understands that as well.
Yeah,
I feel like some people
honestly, I gave all the credit to my wife, man, because she's been on top of COVID. Honestly, like way heavier than I have. She schedules our tests every single week. So I couldn't do it without her, to be honest with you.
That's dope.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, I've seen a lot of of my boys kind of break up with their girls during the pandemic and quarantine and everything. So it's good to see. It's good to see some newlyweds power through and make it to their first anniversary. You know,
it's honestly like the other part of the pandemic that a lot of people don't talk about is like the mental aspect of it. You know, like your mental health and being shut off and closed off from so many people or all your friends, like basically for the past 12 months. You know what I'm saying? Like it does a number on you. Like I definitely reached a point where, you know, I'm not even afraid to say that I was like depressed. Like, and as soon as we were able to go back to work, it did wonders for me, man. Like being able to interact with people and see people smile and just be around friends and do what I love. Like it did a lot for me mentally, 100%. I'm not going to ever try to hide that. Like, you know, I definitely sympathize and feel for people that are unable to work, you know? So there is an upside to it that no one's really talking about.
I have a question, if you don't mind me asking. What were some of the things you were going through that kind of put you into a depression? Like what was it that you were concerned with?
Just like, I didn't really realize like how much, like you think you're an introvert until you're like actually cut off from people. And then days and weeks and months go by and it's just you in your house, just by yourself, not going from the lifestyle that we all had as DJs to that is so like, it's so 180 that the adjustment sometimes isn't there. And I didn't get adjusted to it too easily. You know, like I missed hanging out with my friends. I missed going out to eat. Like I missed doing just normal shit. And I hit this point. I remember one time where I was just like, I don't care. Like, I don't give a fuck. I just want to go see my friends. Like, I want to hang out. And, you know, luckily my wife was there to kind of ground me and bring me back down to reality and remind me of, you know, what's more important, which is why, like, so when Florida opened up, like, her and I had a long conversation about whether or not I was going to go back to work and whether or not it was a smart thing to do. And besides the mental health aspect, the financial aspect of it also was a factor. Because unemployment for a lot of people in Florida ran out months ago. The first thing they ask you when you're applying for unemployment is, has COVID-19 affected your ability to work? And now that everything's open, no, it hasn't. You have no excuse now, you know?
Man.
So that was an issue too. But her and I talked it out, and we came to basically the routine that we're doing now, where I'm doing as much as I possibly can to make sure that I am not contributing to this in a negative way, you know? So if I want to work, I have to make the sacrifices in my own life, whether it's being double masked up all the time, taking tests every single week, not going out unless you're getting paid, like only for necessities, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not the same as it was. Like I wouldn't say like the way that I'm living is the exact same as it was before coronavirus. It definitely isn't, for sure. Yeah. Like I was wilding out way more, and just, you know, now I'm always mindful to, you know, stay masked up, and I've switched to like just shots now. So if I'm drinking, it just comes out for 1 second and then it goes back up. I'm not sipping on anything anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that has changed. So
I feel like right now on the East Coast, right? I feel like Florida is the pulse of nightlife for the East Coast right now. A lot of New Yorkers are going down there. You know,
we got a couple here in Tampa.
Yeah. Out of speculation, where do you think this is going to go? Where do you think nightlife is going to go? You think you guys are going to be opening up 100% by the fall? If you were going to just kind of put it out there, like, and guess.
Man, see, I can't even answer that because, like I said, every city in Florida is doing something different.
Right.
Miami's got their curfew. We don't got a curfew. Mm-hmm. Tampa's got COVID ordinances where you got to be sitting down to have a drink, and you have to have your mask up if you're standing up. And technically, we're not supposed to be having dance floors. So what these clubs are doing, they're putting tables in the middle of the dance floor now.
Yeah.
But then there's cities like Orlando that there are like zero rules. Oh. You know, so it just depends. Like Florida is so like nobody's on the same page out here, and it's just kind of hard to predict where it's going to go. But what I do see happening right now is I am seeing, like what we just talked about, a lot of DJs are moving now. They're moving from where they live to Florida, to Texas, to Atlanta to get work now, because where they're at, there's no work.
Really? Like I haven't seen any DJs moving to Florida. Is that really what you've seen? Wow. In Tampa?
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 new guys here in Tampa. There's a bunch in Miami.
From where?
Got guys from New York. I got a homie from Minneapolis that moved to Texas. Guys from parts of Georgia that moved down here because we were more open than Atlanta at the time.
Yeah.
It's just I see that happening, and I don't know what's going to come of that, just because there's.
But is the work there? Is there work for them, or are they just?
Yes and no.
Right.
Mostly no. Like I've like the first guy that moved here from New York, I helped him out, and I kind of got him into some spots, and then he's kind of started wading the water on his own now. But then there's other guys, and I'm like, yo, this is now a thing now where I'm like, I can't help everybody, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'd love to show love to everyone, but at the end of the day, like, if we're the only 3 spots that are open, Texas, Atlanta, and Florida, there's only so many people that we can take. You know what I'm saying? There's only so many clubs that these people can DJ at. At some point, it's going to get way too oversaturated. And I think that's going to affect our nightlife here more than, not more, but I can answer that before I can answer where it's going to go, like in terms of like COVID regulations in Florida.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I think it's interesting, but I also think streaming, like for DJs, was a great fucking option for a ton of DJs who couldn't get into the clubs, and it's a very realistic option. And I was talking to Jamie last night a little bit about it. I think if anything, it won't be so saturated, the club scene, as it was before, with all of these DJs trying to get in, because a lot of these DJs are making more money on Twitch. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's a whole different side of that topic. I was just answering for Florida, but for sure, streaming and on a national scale, for sure, I think streaming is going to elevate a lot of people that weren't as elevated before, because the community on Twitch is wild, man. Like, it really is its own little world on there.
It really is. I feel like I'm not on there as much as I would like to be, because I would actually like to, but it's just been kind of crazy on our side. But Yeah, it does feel like I do feel a little left out sometimes because I'm like, wait, what happened? Like, what happened with this one Twitch?
Man,
or like, yeah, you know, like you see on Twitter.
You're telling me, man, because I'm not active
right
on Twitch, but we're back to work,
right.
You know, so it's like
it feels like
not that it's not that I'm against it. It's just like, man, like now that I'm back to work, it's just like another thing to worry about. That I'm worried about clubs right now.
You know what it feels like? I feel like we were all working in the same department, and then all of a sudden the departments moved. You know what I'm saying? And then and then a Twitch department, you know, expanded to another building, and then like you kind of meet up with, you know, your old peoples in there. That's like, oh man, that's, you know, this happened and this happened. You're like, oh shit, like I didn't see that because I was over here in my department. So it's like, I just think it's funny because I'd be like, yo, what the fuck's going on? What happened? What was this? What is that? Do you get a bug to want to stream at all or not really?
I did. Like, so when the lockdowns like first started back in like, last March, like a year ago.
Yeah.
I was streaming, but at the time it was Instagram. Mm-hmm. I was streaming heavy on Instagram when we first got into lockdown, but I didn't hop on the Twitch train because by the time the Twitch bandwagon just like took off or whatever, like started popping off, like we were already back to work at that point.
Right.
So that's really the only reason I haven't been on Twitch.
I had a question for you, Cool. Like, do you think that the Twitch kind of like what is going on, you think it'll translate into the clubs? Kind of like how like people were booking Red Bull 3 style DJs? Like that was like a thing. Do you think like these people having success on Twitch will actually get like some love in the club, like from managers when to book them?
That's a really good question. And I think that kind of depends on what kind of content they're putting out. You know, a lot of people are playing like, and I, as an artist and as a creative, I love seeing the eclectic sets on there and people playing what they want to play. But I don't know how that would necessarily translate to like someone who books for clubs. Mm-hmm. Should I say? You know, I think it kind of depends on what they're putting out there, though. I don't know. But then again, like there's guys that are just building their own little niche that they might not even need that. Like look at Zach. Zach's shit has taken off. Like
4 colors.
You know, he's built his own whole little niche on that thing, and it's just like it's a show. It's a show. You know, more than it is just watching a DJ stream. It's a whole show now.
It's funny because I was talking to somebody and I was trying to describe it, and I realized like, yo, this is like the new MTV because like right. Yeah, it's like the new MTV, it's the new BET. The DJ is like a VJ, but they have their own music show. It's like Downtown Julie Brown had her own show. Like, you know, remember like Hits from the Streets, you know, like remember all that shit on BET? You know, like it like and then BET had like remember they had like the dance hall show. I forgot what that
Caribbean Rhythms.
Caribbean Rhythms, with Rachel, So I'm like it almost feels like new music television, where the DJs are the VJ because they're hosting. Yeah. And then there's like an interaction element. It's like so I was like, yo, this is like the new MTV. Like, and I started realizing it because I was like, the 4 Color Zach, that is something I would have seen on MTV. Like, that's some crazy shit I would have seen on MTV, you know? But I think it's dope, man. What do you call it? When you were doing IG Live, did you do it out of interest or like kind of like a feel of desperation, like oh shit, I better hop on this, you know?
I did it out of a sense. I did it under the impression that we were only going to be locked down for a month, 2 months, and this was just going to hold people over and keep people happy for those, month or two that we were supposed to be locked down. Mm-hmm. But I will say during that time, like, is when I started to get way more like aware of how Florida was going to be acting towards this coronavirus, because that's literally the first month or two, like there were still DJs out here taking work, playing house parties, playing venues that weren't supposed to be open. Like the rest of the city is locked down and these guys are still out here doing shit. And that kind of shit started to dishearten me. And then all the people that, we see in Florida that just either like just straight up don't believe in masks or just think that the virus is fake, or all that shit is so disheartening. So I think that contributed to me kind of like getting really depressed. Like after that point, once we got back to work, my mental health got better, but all that kind of shit just definitely played a part into it for sure.
Yeah, man. I always wondered, like, the Tampa scene, because I don't think I've ever DJ'd in Tampa, and I've been to several different cities in Florida, but I haven't really been in Tampa. So I
love Tampa, man. I absolutely love Tampa, man. I love our scene here.
What is the Tampa scene? Because Fort Lauderdale, I kind of always think of Fort Lauderdale as like spring break, all of that shit, kind of a party town, more of like a college town compared to like a Miami. You know what I'm saying? What is it, Tampa? What would you describe over there?
I'd say like we're kind of like a little Miami. We're like a more manageable Miami. I feel like.
What does that mean? What is more manageable?
Like Miami. Miami is so full of life, and it's such a huge city, and it's so eclectic, and it's so diverse.
Yeah.
But the problem with Miami sometimes is you can't turn Miami off. You know,
Yep.
like Tampa's like still. It's chill when you want it to be chill. It's turn up when you want it to be turn up. You know, we got like our own like little like our little rap scene here with Juke Music. This guy that from here, Ellie the Goat, just got signed to Jermaine Dupri's label. He got a remix with Rick Ross out right now. Like people are really behind him. But it feels like that like small hometown kind of pride kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like people love this city, man. Like I love Tampa. Tampa's amazing. I wouldn't live anywhere else in Florida, man.
Is it more?
I love it here.
I mean, is it kind of like Miami with the music scene, like a lot of down south?
Yeah, like, music wise, pretty much
similar.
Pretty
similar.
Yeah, pretty similar. But we got like our. So what was cool about this was like, so we had like hella big DJs in town. Like I DJ'd with like Funkmaster Flex for Super Bowl II, and like, we had like Reach here at one of the clubs.
Nice.
Bunch of whatever, but like so all these out of town DJs would come here and play like the headlining sets and the most popular records ever. So whenever I would go on either after them or before them, I would play like straight Tampa rap set and it would pop off, you know, because we got a whole catalog, we got a whole swag down here, Tampa Juke Music. Like
wait, so explain that. What is the Tampa set? I want to know now.
I feel like Tampa Juke Music is kind of like a mix between like New Orleans bounce and Miami booty bass. It's like 110 cowbell. I feel like Tampa's biggest hit was probably Kaya, My Neck, My Back, when that came out. She's from here, but we don't really claim her no more though because when she blew up, she claimed that she was from Miami when she got on BET the first time.
That's so weird. Yeah, I was from Miami.
Yeah. Everybody was like, nah. Everyone in Florida was like, what? Like no.
Oh man, that's funny.
So she kind of got excommunicated from here, to be honest with you. But
I love it. It's like a different world, man, and it's just a little bit central in Florida, like a little bit away from Miami, and it's this whole different world. I love it.
Yeah, definitely for sure.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't even like comparing like Tampa to Miami though. You know, like it's Miami is its own animal, man. It is, and I love Miami. But we're our own thing here.
And you guys have any more questions or anything or no?
I think we good.
Yeah.
I mean, let me ask you something though. Like, how are you guys doing? Like, you guys are all in Vegas, right?
Yeah,
pretty much.
How are you guys doing with COVID and are any of you guys back to work?
Yeah, we're kind of at the mercy of the capacity rules. So we're working, but definitely not as much as we were pre-COVID. So for me, I'm working maybe like twice a month. And it's literally because of the 25% capacity. Like they're trying to lift that. I think today starts 30%, and I think in another 2 weeks it's going to go back to 50. So I think that'll help dictate a lot of gigs.
So like when you say 30% capacity, are they just not using DJs? Is that what's happening?
I think it's 25%. It was like 25% capacity, and at 50%, I think they had a budget. They were able to make enough money to afford a DJ. And then I think with 25%, it's hard to have a budget for a DJ because the 25% capacity includes the staff. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's hard to like make money. So I think they're barely breaking even at 25% capacity. But,
do they have like rules for you guys where you need to be like masked up and everything like when you're working or when you're in the building?
Pretty much.
The great thing about Vegas is they're strict as fuck. You know, they're like they've got it all down and everyone is like super safe. Yeah. And so they're super on top of it. They're not fucking around in Vegas.
Especially because most things are in a casino. So because of gaming and they want to protect gaming and hospitality, they're really strict with temperature checks. They have like a glass up for gaming. Like if you're playing blackjack, there's a fiberglass window in between you and the next person.
Mm-hmm.
And in restaurants, everything's reservation only. Like there's no walk up traffic whatsoever. And even the bars, you have to have a reservation. Everything's really strict.
See, this is how whenever I talk to homies like around the country, they tell me how strict their hospitality scene is, especially with like obviously with just like restaurants, and some places have bars open.
Yeah.
And like little lounges and shit like that. But everyone is like, most other places are really strict and they're on top of it. It's like, this is the part of the shit that I don't like about Florida though. It's just like I was saying earlier, there's so much non-agreeance in what we should be doing, which is why I'm so vocal about, trying to be as responsible as possible.
Right.
Because all eyes are on us, and nobody wants to fucking see us abusing it and looking like a bunch of idiots while we're given the opportunity to do so.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I will say that, from what you like display on Twitter and what you tweet out, I think it's very apparent that you're being extremely responsible, to the point where, it motivated me to be even more responsible about certain things that I was doing, and how I would approach going back to work. If I was gonna start DJing weekly like you, like I started researching, where to get the COVID test faster, what was around, blah, 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 like after seeing your tweets. So like that was one of those things where I really commended you, and I want to give you props on how you've been handling this whole thing, and I think you've been doing it really well. And if you have if you have those Tom Cruise moments where you have your rants and shit when you're going off on motherfuckers, I think it's totally understandable. It's like, it's not an easy thing to navigate through, and for business owners, I think it's the same thing. It's not easy to keep your employees happy, to keep them paid, to take care of them and take care of yourself as well. It's really tricky,
I think the worst part about this whole situation, and just me speaking out on it though, is that like, I like, not even joking, like legit have just like lost friends over this shit, because people, like I said, they take your words and they twist them into some wild shit to reflect their own personal MO or whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it sucks. But at the end of the day, it's like, this shit is way more important than me or you, or it's about everybody. It's about our entire community. It's about our entire scene, to be real with you. Like, if we're all the way open and we fuck this whole shit up, like, who's to say if we're ever going to open back up again if they shut us down? Mm-hmm. Like, nobody wants that.
It's funny.
So it's either you try to do your part and make sure that the scene needs to be, pushed in the way it needs to go. Otherwise, we'll all lose it for maybe ever. Like, who knows? Like, shit's crazy out here.
It's crazy because I really haven't been, like, nobody in my circle, thankfully, has been like anti-mask at all. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
But like,
you're lucky. You are lucky.
Like,
you are lucky, because that conversation is fucking exhausting.
I know it is. But it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know about the rest of my, the fellas on the podcast, but a lot of people are, following masks and shit, and they believe in that shit. And then maybe, I don't think I had a ton of people I was conversing with, or a bunch of people that, I have a pretty tight circle, but I'm just saying, like, I haven't really encountered that to a certain degree. I don't, so.
Oh man, I have. Yeah. Living out here, I definitely have.
I think it's the same thing goes for the, with politics and the whole, I've been on the same page about politics, COVID, with pretty much everyone in my circle, and it, I don't, maybe, I don't know, man. Maybe I just don't understand, like, I do understand what you're going through, but it's just one of those things where it's not, I don't really understand because I'm not dealing with it. You know what I'm saying? But
I think also another way that I look at it is, when this shit is all over and done with, when coronavirus is behind us, and things are attempting to come back to normal, whatever your view on masks and coronavirus in general are, I would rather be able to say at the end of this that I was proactive about it,
right,
instead of not. Mm-hmm. Whether these masks worked, whether testing worked or not, at least I could say that I didn't sit by and was one of those motherfuckers that did nothing, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's going to help me sleep better at night.
For sure. And I think in the end, I think we all agree, I'd rather be cautious, wear a mask, and then 2 years later have motherfuckers say like, hey, you didn't need to wear a mask, and be like, I don't really give a fuck. I just did it anyway. And
I just did it anyways, bro. That's what I tell these people all the time. Like, this shit don't hurt me, bro. It's just a fucking piece of, it's a cloth on your face, bro. What are you complaining about? Like,
I know.
Like, it ain't that serious.
I'm telling you, man.
And it's like the least little tiny thing you could do, and people are still like, nah. I'm like, bro, come on, man.
I know. Well, cool, man. I commend you. The DJ community commends you. I think, I'm glad to see you go back to work. I'm sad. I'm not sad. I'm glad to see you, thriving or not thriving, surviving, getting through this, and then doing it safely, and representing it in a very positive and cautious and safe way on the internet and social media and stuff. And that was a horrible way of saying it, but I'm sorry. But yeah, basically, we give you props. We showing you love. We showing you love. We salute you, bro. We salute you.
Thank you for being a good role.
That was horrible. What I was getting in my Jamie. I was my Jamie radio personality.
Let me get to it.
Giving you your flowers.
Yeah, he's trying to give you your flowers, but he's not good.
I appreciate you guys having me and letting me speak my piece on here.
No,
I think more people need to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Because we do have a responsibility. We're key figures when it comes to this nightlife stuff.
Yeah,
and we should be doing the most we can. I appreciate you guys.
I appreciate you, and I hope I don't know, maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, I hope I can catch one of your sets because I've heard you're nasty. Everyone tells me you're nasty.
Yeah,
and I've seen some of the YouTube videos, and I want to see. I definitely want to see you throw down. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully one of these days we can have a drink and I can hear you throw down. You know what I'm saying?
Most def.
Yeah.
Most def. I'll send you my my losing Red Bull set to 4 Color Zach. How about
that? Oh yeah, it was the same year.
Yeah, it was that year, bro. Hold on, I don't mean to get off topic now. Real quick. No. We're about to end, but I remember like the year that we were all in U.S. finals with Zach.
Yeah.
And the first semifinal round, he did his first tone play. It was like me, Dynamics, Mike 2600, Skew, a bunch of people. We all looked at each other and we were just like, yeah, it's a wrap. Like, let's make this a fun week, but it's a wrap. Like,
wow.
Were you there when he was throwing the dildos at the crowd?
That what?
No, he doesn't know.
That was the finals, right? Where he wasn't overseas.
No, it was here. It was in the States.
Oh, was it?
It was in the Bay Area. I guess he threw dildos at one of the contestants.
Oh, all of them, right?
Oh,
yeah. I forgot if it was all of them or one of them, but it was in the Bay Area.
Just throwing dildos in the crowd.
He's amazing, man. That guy deserves all his flowers, man. That guy's amazing.
He's a great dude too, man. And he's
I love that dude.
Wildly creative. Shout to Zach. Yo, cool. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it. I'm glad we actually got to link up and speak.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Thank you guys again for having me, man.
If you want to watch more episodes from R.O.A.D Podcast, click either links on the left or the right. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page and get updated on new uploads throughout the week. Peace.